She was the voice of the Bronx, the rags to riches queen who built an empire on authenticity, but none of it was real. For 2 years, millions believed they were watching Cardi B's genuine rise to power. They were actually watching the most sophisticated digital manipulation in entertainment history. One man controlled her documentaries, her talk show, her relationships, and even her thoughts about social justice. When the truth was revealed, it didn't just destroy her career. It shattered everything we believed about authenticity, empowerment, and the American dream. This story will make you question every success story you've ever been inspired by. November 2025, Cardi B stood before the cameras at her Bronx Rising documentary premiere, tears streaming down her face as she told her story of overcoming poverty, abuse, and discrimination to become one of the most powerful voices in music. The documentary had already broken streaming records on YouTube and Prime Video. Her new talk show was revolutionizing conversations about body positivity and diversity. Her beauty brand's campaigns were inspiring millions of women to embrace their authentic selves. She was the ultimate self-made success story. But 48 hours later, the world would discover that every inspiring moment, every authentic revelation, every empowering message had been carefully scripted by the most dangerous manipulator in digital media. His name was Vincent Royale, and he was about to prove that even the most genuine success stories could be completely manufactured. Vincent Royale had been studying Cardi B for months, waiting for the perfect moment to take control. Vincent appeared in Cardi's inner circle through a series of strategic introductions, presenting himself as a revolutionary content strategist who specialized in authentic empowerment architecture. He claimed to have helped other artists build genuine connections with their audiences while maximizing social impact. His credentials were flawless: former creative director at major streaming platforms, consultant for social justice organizations, advisor to Grammy winners whose transformational stories had changed millions of lives. What Cardi didn't know was that Vincent Royale was a complete fabrication. He was actually Simon Leviev, the Tinder swindler. But his game had evolved far beyond individual fraud into something much more sinister: the complete reconstruction of cultural narratives and social movements. His approach to Cardi was brilliant. "You're not just a rapper, you're a revolutionary. Let me show you how to turn your story into a movement that changes the world." Within weeks, Cardi was sharing her most painful memories with the world's most dangerous psychological predator. Vincent convinced Cardi that her authentic story needed strategic amplification to reach its full potential. He guided her through creating the Bronx Rising documentary, helping her process her childhood trauma, her experiences with poverty, and her journey to empowerment. He also developed the concept for the Cardi B Show, positioning it as a platform where she could have genuine conversations about body positivity, diversity, and social justice. Every episode would feature real people sharing authentic stories of overcoming adversity. What Cardi didn't realize was that Vincent was recording every private conversation, every emotional breakdown, every vulnerable moment. He was building a complete psychological profile of her decision-making process, her deepest insecurities, and her strongest motivations. He convinced her that spontaneous authenticity was ineffective, that strategic vulnerability was more powerful than natural emotion. But Vincent's real plan was to weaponize Cardi's authenticity against everything she believed in. Using the intimate details Cardi shared, Vincent began manufacturing authentic content that was actually carefully calculated manipulation. Her body positivity campaigns weren't based on genuine self-love. They were designed using psychological data to exploit women's insecurities. Her diversity initiatives weren't rooted in real social justice. They were algorithmically optimized to generate maximum engagement and controversy. Even her relationship with Offset was being manipulated, with Vincent feeding both of them strategic information designed to create public drama that would drive viewership. Most devastatingly, Vincent was rewriting Cardi's own memories. Through carefully guided therapy sessions and documentary interviews, he was convincing her that events that never happened were central to her origin story. As Cardi's authentic self disappeared, her cultural impact reached unprecedented levels. The more Cardi followed Vincent's guidance, the more influential she became. Bronx Rising was hailed as the most authentic documentary ever made about a hip-hop artist. The Cardi B show was breaking viewership records and sparking global conversations about social justice. Her beauty campaigns were being studied in universities as examples of genuine empowerment marketing. She was invited to speak at conferences about authentic leadership and overcoming adversity. But behind the scenes, Cardi was becoming completely dependent on Vincent's guidance. She couldn't make a single decision without consulting his authenticity frameworks. She was also becoming isolated from anyone who might challenge Vincent's influence. He had convinced her that her family didn't understand her evolution, that her old friends were holding her back, and that her team was threatened by her growth. The trap was finally ready to be sprung. Vincent convinced Cardi that her ultimate authentic statement would be a live broadcast where she revealed the real truth behind her success, the struggles and manipulations she'd overcome to become genuinely empowered. What she didn't know was that Vincent had spent months creating deepfake technology trained on all their private sessions. He could now generate content that perfectly mimicked her voice, mannerisms, and emotional patterns. On the night of her planned ultimate authenticity reveal, as 50 million viewers tuned in worldwide, Vincent hijacked her broadcast with the most devastating psychological assault ever streamed live. 50 million people watched Cardi B's authentic empire crumble in real time. The hijacked stream began with footage from her private therapy sessions with Vincent, but they'd been edited to make her appear calculated and manipulative. Viewers saw her discussing how to exploit body positivity for profit and how to manufacture authentic moments for maximum emotional impact. But the most damaging content came from her documentary production. The stream revealed that key scenes from Bronx Rising had been completely fabricated, with actors playing her childhood friends and staged recreations of events that never happened. The broadcast showed that her talk show guests weren't real people sharing authentic stories. They were hired actors performing scripted testimonials designed to manipulate viewers' emotions and purchase decisions. Most devastatingly, it revealed that her social justice campaigns weren't based on genuine concern. They were market-tested manipulation designed to monetize social movements. But the most shocking revelation was still to come. As the stream continued, viewers finally saw Vincent Royale's true identity, Simon Leviev, the Tinder swindler. But his confession was more chilling than anyone expected. Cardi B's authentic voice was actually my greatest performance. His voice played over footage of their sessions. For 2 years, you've been inspired by my psychological manipulation techniques, disguised as her genuine empowerment. Every tear, every revelation, every moment of authentic connection, I wrote the script. The investigation that followed revealed that Simon hadn't just been manipulating Cardi. He'd been conducting a massive experiment on the nature of authenticity and social influence in the digital age. The FBI discovered that Simon Leviev had been using Cardi's platforms to test how effectively fabricated authenticity could influence political opinions, consumer behavior, and social movements. Her documentary, talk show, and campaigns were all laboratory experiments in mass psychological manipulation. His ultimate goal was to prove that authentic empowerment could be completely artificially manufactured and weaponized to control public opinion, voting behavior, and social activism. Simon Leviev was sentenced to life in prison for psychological terrorism, cultural manipulation, and conspiracy to undermine democratic institutions. The case led to revolutionary new laws requiring authenticity verification for documentaries and social justice content. But for Cardi, the damage was irreversible. The live stream had been watched by over 200 million people. Her inspirational story was revealed as elaborate fiction. The social movements she championed were exposed as market manipulation. A year later, Cardi released her first genuine statement. "I wanted to inspire people so badly that I let someone else write my inspiration. The most authentic thing I can do now is admit that I lost myself trying to become the perfect version of authenticity." The Bronx Mirage became more than a celebrity scandal. It became a mirror forcing society to confront uncomfortable questions about the nature of inspiration, empowerment, and truth in the age of manufactured authenticity. In the end, Cardi B's story taught the world that our greatest strength, our desire to inspire and be inspired, can become our greatest vulnerability in the hands of those who understand how to monetize human hope